Welcome back to Broken Bobby's Transformation Page. If you are new to the page, in 1990 I became involved in the drug gang world. From 92 to '06, I spent a lot of time incarcerated. I tell these stories to let you know it don't have to be you. If you're young and thinking about trying something or you're figuring out how to get out, these are my stories of this lifestyle and how it affected me, and eventually I got out and transformed my life. So let's get into today's story. So let's get into this story about how the time the homie lost it, as you see in the thumbnail. So this is around 89, maybe 1990, and I had just picked up from the homie this green box Chevy. As a Chevy Caprice Classic 4-door, probably 83 or something. Like, it was a nice car. So I owed the guy that I was working for, that we were transporting with, I hadn't paid him yet. I wanted to take it for a ride and see what it was, basically. So I was going to do a test run to Vegas and back, and then we'd figure things out, But we would never make it to Vegas on this trip. So I was bringing, we had the stuff in the car that was going up there, a couple packages, pew pew, and we're heading up there, and I was told to bring this guy Jorge with me for this run. They needed to talk to him, basically. The the big connect that was up there. So I don't know if he had something coming or what the deal was, but I know Jorge was using, and he was using quite a bit at this time. Some might say he was slipping a little bit, So we're heading to Vegas, and before I completely get into this, if you like this sort of content, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Also, smash that like button, drop a comment, and let me know what you think. Share this video to somebody that may like it. It helps to grow the channel, so I appreciate that. Also, don't forget to hit the notification bell. That way you'll be notified anytime I drop a new story. So we're heading to Vegas, me and Jorge. We got the load and everything, and we get through Barstow. We're coming out of San Bernardino, and we get through Barstow. We're out in the middle of friggin' nowhere, I swear. Not to Baker yet, somewhere out there in the middle of the Mojave Desert on the I-15 North. So all of a sudden, the transmission starts slipping a little bit, and I see a bunch of smoke coming out of the back. So I pull over to the shoulder, and there was nothing out there. Like, luckily it was daytime, so I could see around there. But I pull over, still got a bunch of smoke. I pop the hood. There's a small fire. One of the transmission lines was leaking fluid, I believe, and there's flames. So I pull off my coat, I put the fire out, thank God for that. And now I'm realizing that this car isn't going to make it. We're in the middle of nowhere. There's no cell phones at this time. So, we're going to have to walk either back to Barstow or up to Baker, which, there's no GPS at this time either. So, I'm not sure which one is closer, but I get the packages out of the car, and I go off into the desert a little ways, maybe 50 feet or so, and I stash them because there's nobody out there. And at some point, CHP is going to come along, and they like to ask a lot of questions and look into things. So I felt that was the best move to make. So I'm over there. I stash them. I put like a Coke bottle or something there to mark it so that we'll be able to find it when we come back. And I can hear Jorge over there, and he's just cussing up a storm, puta madre, and all of this sort of stuff. And next thing you know, I hear the shots ringing. And I'm like, what the fuck? So, like, I'm ducking down, like, not knowing what's going on. This fool done lost it. He unloads 16 shots into the car. And I don't know what the hell is going through this guy's mind. So now I'm running through the desert to get away from this fool. And, you know, I don't know what I'm going to do, basically. So I'm walking, heading northbound still. And I get a couple of miles up the road, and a CHP finally comes along. And honestly, I was happy to see him because, you know, people die out there in the Mojave Desert. It wasn't the hot time of year, but, you know, I'm not no damn marathon runner or nothing. You know, I'm just a young kid that is dealing with a little bit of addiction issues, but, you know, I don't have a water bottle. I basically have nothing, no way of contacting anybody. And the CHP rolls up and he says, hey, do you know anything about that green Chevy back there? And I'm like, what green Chevy back there? I don't want nothing to do with this at this point. Because, yeah, Jorge done blew up the spot. And the funny thing is, though, he didn't say anything about Jorge. So I don't know where he disappeared to. I don't know if they picked him up and they just didn't say anything to me. I don't know if he caught a ride with somebody. But, you know, they're asking me, what the hell are you doing out here in the middle of the desert walking? And I told him I was hitchhiking to Vegas. You know, luckily I was pretty quick on my feet at that point, pretty witty with things. And, you know, he tells me about how it's not a good idea to be doing that and all, but he gives me a ride up into Baker, which was about 30 miles up the road. So, yeah, he kind of saved the day on that one. They ended up towing the car away, and luckily I had put down some markers and had a pretty good idea of how far. You know, I'm asking questions as we're riding into Baker. Hey, you know, how far is it to Baker? And like, so you get a pretty good idea of where to go look for the stash. Because, you know, the big homies are definitely going to want that. There are no excuses. You don't lose the stash, you know? So Jorge had basically, I'm sure there was a green light on him at this point because he done messed up really bad. But, so the big homie comes down and gets me. He is not happy. Me and a couple other guys go back down that way, and after several hours of searching, we finally recovered the stash. And luckily, I wasn't on the hook for the car. It was no good to me at this point. So, yeah, I tell this story, like I say, not to glamorize, but, you know, these are the type of things that you can get into if you're involved in that world. And luckily for me, you know, I walked away okay. I didn't end up with any charges on that. Like I said, I don't know what ever happened to Jorge. I hope he's alive and doing well and he went to treatment. But, yeah, the homie lost it on that one. And, you know, that's what happens. So when you're using, you know, you start off, it's, you know, you do a little and you're good. And then a little becomes a little more. And then before you know it, you're doing way too much. Your mind ain't right. And, you know, you get into situations like this. So, you know, the thing is, it's all about making good decisions and not compounding bad decisions. You know, I constantly say that, but I feel like if you make more good decisions and bad decisions, then everything is going to be all right, right? So, family, fitness, and freedom are what delivered me from being involved in all these types of situations. And, you know, it's a good day today. You know, they're not all perfect, but, you know, it could be a lot worse. Can't tell you how many times I should have been unalived or doing being stretched out on a long prison term. But obviously, God had a bigger plan for me, and hopefully, I can help some other people to not make the same mistakes that I did. So, I appreciate you guys watching. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope your football teams are doing well. And don't look at the mountain, just start climbing.